Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Staten Island-based jazz singer Jeannine Otis. We caught up with her to talk about her newest 2021 CD, Into My Heart. She was born and raised in Detroit and is based in Staten Island, and for 4 decades she has drawn equally from jazz, classical, dance, gospel, and pop genres. Over the years, she has worked with numerous music stars like trumpeter Donald Byrd, Kool Gang, the new Shirelles, and so many others. These days, she also serves as the musical director for the St. Mark's Church. She's busy and has great stories. Enjoy.
Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, it's great to hear your voice.
Thank you for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure. It's great that you're interested. So
yeah, you bet. So let's go ahead and start off here with Into My Heart, your latest 2021 CD. And I want to know, it's coming out during the tail end of a pandemic. There's opportunities to perform live. How does it feel to release material right now?
It's fantastic. It feels hopeful. I'm so glad that, I have Jim and Ben and Jim's team working with me. But yeah, it feels really hopeful. I do a lot of work with arts and spirituality, so I'm the director of music at St. Mark's Church in the Bowery. So I've been very involved with a lot of stuff related to COVID, mostly people who want to remember or pray for those who died. And, at one point, our list in that regard was like 60 people, Joe. So it's, you really get a sense of what has been going on and the devastation. So a little hope and a sense of your love of self through your music that's really a good opportunity. Yeah.
So what are you hoping the listener gets from this album? What do you want them to feel from this new project?
The music is music I've put together over a number of years. And I said, well, I'm going to do it now, and then I didn't do it. So it's kind of going on a journey. On one level, I just hope they enjoy listening to the music. But then on another level, all of the songs have to do with your journey towards love of self and love of just what is in life and other people and community. So each one of the songs has a story for me. The one that is in line with that theme a lot is Kotika, written by fabulous jazz vocalist who lives in New Orleans, Betty Shirelles. But it's a song that's used in this piece that I do with a group that uses art as outreach in Staten Island, where I live, Temple of the Arts. It talks about family, life, the cycles of life. And it's sung by little children in the actual piece. I was glad she let me record it, but it tells that story. And for me, that's the most immediate connection to what you had just mentioned in terms of, hopefulness and again, my connection to making art something that builds community.
So you were born in Detroit, raised in Staten Island. Talk to me a little bit about your beginnings and how music became your life, and jazz more specifically.
Well, I was born and raised in Detroit, and then I came east to college. I went to Wellesley, was in Boston, Emerson, traveled to Europe, and then I came to New York, found Staten Island because it reminded me of Michigan, and found community out here. There's just so many connections with the people who are playing, and a lot of the guys who are on this are like what I call mentor friends, Stanley Banks, Stanton Davis, Sam Jacobs, Jimmy Ponzi, Onaje Allen Gums. Gums wrote 2 of the songs and produced them a while back. And it was interesting because at the time, I was doing so many different kinds of music, dance music, and this. But that was Onaje's vision of how he heard my voice at its best. And so I find it, really kind of like a spiritual journey to say, oh, well, now I finally see what he was talking about. And, of course, he and his wife passed away from COVID in 2020. So it's also a tribute to him and his musical witness and wisdom. I think I've just been so blessed by knowing such wonderful musicians and people who've encouraged me, you're a singer, but don't just be a singer. Write your own music, play an instrument well, know how to communicate, and just hammered it in my head. And the list is, I was thinking this morning, the list is just, when you think about it, it's like, wow, starting, with some members of my own family, but then going on to people like Onache and Earl Clue early on, Grover Washington's wife, Christine, John Blake, Dr. Gibbs, Richard Specker. When I first came to New York, I was kind of adopted because I had worked in Boston with the New England Conservatory Jazz group with Webster Lewis, so Stanton, and Carl Atkins, Vishnu Wood. It was like my uncle. We worked together steadily for 20 years. He's retired now, and he and his wife Peggy have a lovely place in Mexico. But he was those people who you're up on the stage, and excuse the expression, they stay on your ass, and they want you to be this musician that's there for the love of the work, to understand the medium. And out of that comes the performance and the singing part. Donald Byrd, Joe Chambers, Freddie Waits. A lot of them I met because of Vishnu, because we traveled mostly up and down the East Coast, and then in the UK. There's so many people that, from time to time have I've worked on a project or on stage with, or they've liked my music or liked something I was doing, and so we did a project together. I also play the piano, so a lot of it has to do with, just instrumental music as well.
So what was the first live jazz show you ever saw that really inspired you and made you want to become a performer?
Well, when because of, my cousin Elaine was married to Thad Jones, and my mother, Adrienne, that's why I call the music company Adrielle, because it's Adrienne and Elaine. Because of that connection, my mother was dragging me to concerts. I didn't even know at all how, amazing it was. Nina Simone, Thad's concert in Detroit with Dee Dee Bridgewater. But then I remember in my elementary school, because, Detroit was there's something in the water there, especially during that time. But it seems like a lot of people just come from there. So in my class, I think I was, like I said, 8 years old or 9. Michelle Hendricks was in my class. So her father, John Hendricks, came and did an assembly in my elementary school. And that really, it was then Hendricks, Lambert, and Bevon already. And I don't know, as an 8-year-old kid, but that really, I loved the way that they used vocals. It felt exciting to me, and it just engaged me. And I went, wow. So I think, those are early things. My mother, who's deceased, used to tell this story when I was really little. So I'm not, I wasn't fully verbal. But we went to visit my uncle Melvin, whose daughter is Elaine, who's married to Dad, and his wife, Melvina. And they put on, they were, everybody on that side of the family, incredibly artistic in appreciation, if not as performers. So they put on one of Thad's records on the big stereo. I'm dating myself, but it was really big. And so here I'm this little girl, and I hear it, and I love it so that I go to the speaker and just kind of wrap myself up in the music and start dancing. And my Uncle Melvin said, "Uh-oh, we got another one." So, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, so.
Beautiful. So what do you like the best about being a professional musician? What's the most enjoyable part for you?
Well, you have to love what you do, because you go up and down with where you do it and all of that kind of thing. I think it's just that I just love music. I love the feeling of being in community, because music, well, you can be a soloist, but no matter what you do, you're always in community. It's a communal art. Even when you're a soloist, it's at best it's a communal art. And even, I played the clarinet when I was up until I left Detroit for college. I was actually very involved in playing the clarinet as well as the piano and singing. And so I used to be in these bands, and orchestras. And I was a soloist when I was 13 as a singer with the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. It's a program called American Youth Performs. Carmen Dragon directed. It was a patriotic song, but it was like all your buddies from all over the city were there. And, it's just always, for me, it's always been that feeling. I know the music business can be a rough business sometimes in that respect. People don't feel like they have friends, but the side of it that I've been in, I've always felt like it just builds community for me.
So as we emerge from COVID and get back out to live music and things are starting to wake up, what do you hope we all realize about the power of live music when we get back to it, both the musician and the audience?
Well, again, people are saying this to me left and right. I just had a friend, text me, people, it's like that scene at the end of The Wiz, with Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, where people come out of their shells and whatever. I'm very dramatic in this image, but it feels like people are coming out and having human contact. And I think we've got to know that there's a heightened love and respect and sense of gratitude for the fact that we can do that. And music highlights that, At St. Mark's, we're already doing outdoor concerts. I sang just 2-3 weeks ago with Art Barron. It was Art Barron, Stanley Banks, Danny Mixon, and 2 other musicians that I didn't know as well, but were amazing. Outside in front of St. Mark's or 3rd Street music. And, what a feeling of joy it was to look out and see people and, talk to people, have them laugh with you,
Yeah, it's wonderful, for sure.
Yeah.
So if you could go to a dream gig, get into a time machine and go anywhere in time and see any jazz musician, who would you want to go see live?
That's hard, Joe, because I love everything. I will tell you one thing that because of my particular style. But see, I'm so eclectic. I love everybody. But I will tell you that one time, this friend of mine at the time, John Phillips, worked for George Wein, and it's New York, and I'm finishing a rehearsal with a friend, and we're walking down the street, and he says, I have 2 tickets to Carnegie Hall. They're not going to be used. It's George's box. Why don't you take them? So we looked at each other, and we finished rehearsal, and we went, yeah, okay. And it was box seats to Sarah Vaughan, Cleo Lane, and one other singer. And they're all sort of in that sort of, Sarah Vaughan, and Cleo Lane, and I love so many different parts of jazz, but that particular kind of jazz really is something that I love. And so I got to see them. I got to see them with an orchestra.
Well, I saved the hardest one for last, and I want to ask you this. Everyone has a perception or an idea of who they think you are, your family, your friends, your fans, but you're living your life. Who do you think you are?
Ooh. Well, I'll tell you this. Because of all those things I talked about before, I think I was encouraged my whole life to have a very strong sense of being an original. Being you. Don't try to mimic this one or that one. I mean, you might be influenced, but, being you. And, I'm a lover of music, lover of people. I'm kind, but I'm not a doormat. I'm almost a Buddhist, even though St. Mark's is Episcopalian, in my thought about people and caring and community and how important that is. But it's all with, a very strong perception of what's going on around me. Now, I don't always react to what's going on around me, but I think I feel confident that I'm always aware of it. And that goes into my music, that those dualities of existence, existential dualities, having this feeling here and that feeling there. And one is, somebody who is in touch with their angry side, with their feminine side, with their masculine side, try to keep it all working and stay current and awake and still be hopeful.
That's a great answer.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
I love it. Hey, thank you for taking a minute out to talk about the new album and your life and music. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate that you're interested and you listen.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest singers in Detroit, Staten Island, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Jeannine for her time, music, and stories. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Then made you and I
Neon Jazz.